My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, welcome back. And if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that every once in a while we interview a real estate entrepreneur who has just really kind of blown things up very, very quickly. And today is one of those cases. We've got a very action taker real estate investor, Derek Hogarty, zooming in from beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. And Derek was a contractor for many, many, many years. He started actively investing in multifamily properties, I believe it was in 2019, but here's the real kicker. In the last 14 months, Derek has gone from, correct me if I'm wrong, Derek, I think you started with 3 units. Was it 3 units?
2, sir. Just a mixed use.
2 units, and he's gone from 2 to 322 units in the portfolio in the last 14 months. So Derek, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thank you, Dave. Greatly appreciate being here.
All right. So I'm curious, my friend, tell me how this worked, how you went from 26 years as a contractor, building stuff for other people, to finally pulling the trigger and getting a little bit on the other side and being an active real estate investor yourself.
Finally, it's a mixture of a few things. Lifelong learning, networks, and nurturing relationships. Lifelong learning. I did go to my first boot camp in 2019. I was a single dad, busy contractor, excuse. But you know, I wanted to be where my feet are.
Some good ones. Some
yeah,
good
no,
excuses.
very good. Absolutely. No, very good, very worthy. And then the networks, there was a Facebook group that has really expanded here in the South Carolina area. They happen to be cousins. And ironically, they were in literally the same room I was in 2019. They took action. I didn't. And then I actually paid them a fee to learn now again. So that's how much action they took.
Wow.
And I commend them. So let's just say I learned a lot from them, a high majority. And then I did invest a healthy amount of monies into a mentor, and which allowed me to get a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And that coach gave us the last great puzzles and pieces of the puzzle to fit.
Yeah.
But yet always acting on referral as a GC. I've since 26 years now, I've acted on referral since day one, luckily. I've always known the value of nurturing relationships. And I mean that sincerely, because from brokers to real estate brokers to mortgage brokers to just even, investor friends and just following up a little bit and being genuine and just trying to remember, little important things like, is their children sick, and circling back the, week after. But that's allowed me to put some great teams together in order to, like I said, take these foreclosings down in those past 14 months.
That is great. So maybe for context, walk us through your first deal, because that first one's always the scary one, right?
Yeah.
So so the first deal, were you the general partner on that? Were you part of a group on that? What was your role within that first deal?
I got catapulted into my first bigger deal. My very first deal was a smaller JV. So it's pertinent, but not really pertinent. But and what's important to your listeners, more importantly, would be my first bigger deal. 88 units, a difficult buy due to being fractured townhouse condos in the Columbia, South Carolina area. So not easy to find the debt. It ended up being exactly 50% of the condo community as a whole. I'm at a boot camp being told that you should go from LOI to PSA and then go there. My buyer's broker is texting me, someone trumped us. They went straight to PSA. We have to go straight to PSA. Wow. I'm like, oh my God. Luckily my real estate coach.
So maybe translate for folks that aren't familiar with it. What are all the acronyms?
I know. I apologize. I've been living this for 14 months, so I apologize for that. I go backwards. So LOI, letter of intent.
Yeah.
So that's after you've visited the property and you've done your underwriting correctly and you've done some due diligence and you've done maybe checked the taxes are correct and your insurance broker has given you a good guesstimate of what it should be, because those two heavy biggest numbers in your expense ratio. And you submit a letter of intent through your buyer's broker to the seller's broker.
Right.
They tend to nowadays get a best and final, and so forth. And in your first deal, it's not easy to get your signed first LOI because you haven't shown that your ability to execute on a
Right.
close. So luckily I had a great balance sheet partner that guaranteed that we could close from a liquidity standpoint and
Oh,
balance sheet
perfect.
standpoint.
Yeah. Well, that makes
So
it easier, doesn't it?
it did make it easier. What didn't make it easy is going not submitting the LOI and having going to straight to PSA, purchase sales agreement.
There you go. Okay.
You're really literally and figuratively putting your money where your mouth is. I was at a boot camp in Denver, wasn't even at my home office, and had my laptop with me. But luckily my coach was there. So we huddled on a break and we had a very good debt provider there,
Nice.
mortgage broker. So we literally collaborated for like 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. We filled out the PSA via a DocuSign and submitted it with my personal financial statement and my coach's personal financial statement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that, and he
Plus,
was
you
the
had the
cat.
guarantor, right? I mean,
Yeah, yes, yeah. That's actually coach slash guarantor.
Oh, okay.
Turned into a partner very quickly. So we went from coach to
Nice.
partner 3 times now, and luckily we got it. It was crazy. I wasn't even home. I was in Denver versus Charleston, and the irony of this, the fun story of this, is the person who was hosting this whole boot camp called me a few days after the fact, after he heard this crazy story. And his first words to me after you've just invested with this person was, other than doing everything wrong, I actually like the deal. So
You got it. You got it done.
yeah,
So,
yes,
hey,
sir.
so 88 units, that is fantastic. And your coach slash guarantor was guaranteeing it, but not necessarily putting his money in the deal. Is that correct?
No,
So,
you're right. He didn't.
so,
He did
so how
not.
did you
Yeah.
raise the capital for that one? How did you come up with
Whew.
the money?
That took away the remaining gray hair,
Or brought it
black
on?
hair. Excuse me. Yeah,
Yeah.
brought it. Yeah, got rid of. Yeah. So due to that I had two people that I was talking to about capital raising,
Yeah.
knowing I was so close to offer that first offer, that I did have two people in that other group, not the one I invested in,
Yeah.
that said they could raise the capital.
Okay.
Through one of their relations, someone was going to be one check. It was a big
A
insurance
whale.
yeah, a whale,
Yeah.
2.1 to be exact, 2.4 to be exact.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, 3 weeks prior, they withdrew. They owned a very large insurance firm in
Yeah.
California. They didn't understand, which I was dumbfounded to me, because I've built many condos when I was younger, but they didn't understand from an insurance firm. HOA owned outside, and we owned inside. That's why our insurance number was so low.
Yeah.
Like, give me your insurance broker. We're gonna call, etc. So they called and they bumped it to 2.5x the real cost it should have been, which changed the cash on cash. I
Oh,
was
for
going to
sure.
say COC,
Yeah.
and to the point of where it's not within their investment criteria. I'm like, I
And they
know.
caused the issue in the first
They were
place.
the catalyst of lowering the cash on cash
Oh
return
man.
and pulled the whole one check
Pulled the yeah.
three
Pulled the
weeks
plug.
prior to closing.
Jerks.
The same group, I wasn't commiserating, but we were on a group Zoom,
Yeah, yeah.
and I said, guys, I just need to present something. And lo and behold, joys of networks. Again, joy, there's that infamous word. I had a gentleman in Utah bring 2.1
That's
through a fund of funds.
yeah.
But and that's another whole topic we could probably go down. But through a fund of funds, that JP partner has been great, and actually brought on a few more, and another one too. So
Very nice.
yeah, but it was,
So lots of learning lessons with that first deal, as with
yes,
any first time. And now
yes,
since then you've done 3 more closings of
Yes, sir.
Pretty good
Yep.
sized properties. What would you say? Because we won't go through blow by blow each one of
Yeah.
them, but
Yeah.
big
Sorry, that
broad
took a while.
strokes.
Apologize.
No, that was great. That was excellent. I asked. That's exactly what I was looking for. But big broad strokes, Derek. What have been your biggest takeaways from doing these 4 deals so far?
Sure.
So
Well, as everybody says, we want to get 1% better a day, et cetera, and we work on that. The 1%ers want to get 1% better a day, but we would always do. I implemented an exit interview almost of, okay, guys, what did we fall on our face over? And that was, needless to say, the one check. What else did we fall on? What did we trip on? Did we not? We did, lease audits, et cetera, so that we owning a business for so long, I would always do this between Christmas and New Year's to analyze for the next year and implement new goals. So it wasn't really new to me, but yet it is new to me in this arena.
yeah.
So I would take the buyer's broker, myself, the debt person, and then whoever else was involved, the GPs. What can we do to get better
Right.
as a team? And we literally did that on like a 2-hour call. We implemented some change. Ironically, the listing broker of the 88 became an incredible buyer's broker for us. And again, that infamous first deal.
Yeah.
And he flooded us with opportunities. So that October, a year this month, we put 2 other properties under agreement. But we did do it right that time. 2 letter of intents first.
Nice.
We did.
Yeah.
We didn't go straight to PSA.
You learned your lesson.
Oh,
So
exactly.
okay, I love that idea. Doing kind of the big picture debrief with the entire team when the smoke cleared, the deals up and going, not waiting until the new year. You did it right away.
Yeah.
Taking lessons learned, doing your best to avoid making those same mistakes with the next deal. So you talk about the other general partners in these deals. Typically, how many general partners do you have? Let's say on average through these 4 deals, how many GPs were there?
We try to keep that low due to the fact that you don't want as many chefs in the kitchen, opinions, etc. Even though there's a lot of talented people in this arena, everybody has an opinion, and every
just like everybody has something else too.
Yeah, exactly. Where we're going. So to answer your question, literally no more than 5.
Yeah. And then how do you guys kind of divvy up responsibilities between the 5 different
I'm not
GPs?
that good at that. So I have some GP partners saying, Derek, delegate. But when you are the boots on the ground, because I have literally been able to stay within my pseudo backyard.
Yeah.
If you did an old school, stuck a pin in Charleston, I'm a 3-hour radius of a vehicle drive. The initial ration of that is so I could be there potentially next day if something happened, if I got a call, late in the day.
You got the team, you got the experience, you got the know-how to deal
in
with
the subcontractor base,
exactly.
for Q&A, et cetera. And we did one of that first 88 was a 1950s asset. So there were, it was copper and piping and not, PEX and a PVC of yesteryear. So there was a good amount of Q&A. But then the other 2, we were able to find a great PM prior, and we really knew the assets prior to that. But again, it was still within my radius. So, and please refresh my memory on the question again. I think I went off a little off tangent, but I hate to say it. At 53, you admit what you know. The question was,
you got 5 GPs. You got 5 GPs.
Yes.
How do you divvy up responsibility and who's doing what?
So we have an EMD GP. We would have 2 capital raise and the KP, and I tend to co-KP, so I double dip on that, but I give 100% credit of the split to my real guarantor. They're helping me be the KP as a favor and getting the bank relationships in order to literally pretty much spoon feed me a great business model as of next year even. So yes, it would be myself, an EMD party, 2 capital raisers depending upon the extent of capital required to raise. And I visited a behemoth today that actually, for the one, not much intimidates me. This one's pretty big. This one's 622 doors. This is a massive one, but but yet, and then KP, but the KP has allowed me to, and
So what, for people that aren't aware, KP
sorry,
stands for EMB.
I'm sorry.
EMD
Yes.
stands for, yep.
Yep. Earnest money deposit. But
Mhm.
yet, as I had to define that even today, we historically allocate 2%. 1% is actually for what you put in escrow for your letter of intent. Atypically, I've had some people ask for more. And then we historically budget 1% for inspections, lease audits, title, and appraisals, and any
Mhm.
other phases of inspections that may be needed, soft cost
Right.
that prior to closing. And then key KP is key principal. That's the
Mhm.
party that we have to prove. And I try to assist in that as much as possible. 10% liquidity. Say you're purchasing a $5 million multifamily asset, you need to show 500,000 in liquidity, which
Mhm.
sounds like a lot of people don't want to do in today's banking arena, but it does have to be had. And then you have to combine be worth on your personal financial statement. They call it a PFS. Would be 5 million, the value of the purchase price.
Got it.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Okay. Great.
then
And then you
implement the
got a couple of
model.
capital raisers,
Yes,
and
sir.
then kind of the guy or the gal that's kind of keeping everybody in tow. The prime, what would you call it? The GP, the primary
I'm the
GP,
lead. I'm actually the lead
lead,
GP in all of these
lead
due
GP.
to the if you want to think of the GP split as a pie or a pizza,
Mhm.
because I had the deal come through me and I put it under agreement and I did the underwriting and I completed the walks and I did the syndication if or JV. I try to be JV if possible,
Mhm.
and also insurance buyouts and the closing and co-KP. I tend to be, and it changes, but let's just say if you're okay with me sharing, I tend to be about 30 to 40% of the 35% GP
Got it.
split.
Yeah.
And I find projects with enough meat on the bone that we can do a 65-35 split, not the atypical 70-30,
Yeah.
because there's a significant amount of value add required, which is another fancy term for a lot of remodeling
Right.
required.
Which you guys can do, which you and your,
Which yeah, and I do it at a very I do it at cost for the good of
wow.
the syndication, so it
Yeah.
lowers our capex. And not to now have an asterisk, my mortgage broker is killing me to just add like a 5 or an 8% because of, even if I don't take it, to have it as some
Little
unforeseen.
cushion. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cushion
exactly.
there.
But it
Yeah.
does help the syndication as a whole, and or the JV, and we can actually offer a little bit more because our capex, capital expenditure, is
Mhm.
going to be 25 to 30% less than the normal team up the street.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Derek, this is fascinating. You've done an excellent job of kind of breaking it down for us. I really appreciate that. And time flies when we're having fun. And I
Hmm.
think you're off to great things. If some of our listeners would like to connect with you and find out more about Derek Hogarty, where can they go? What can they do? How can they get more of you?
This is going to be a funny story. Because I've had the pleasure of acting on referral only, I actually had to go in and build a website. So it's but that website that I built, which was educational, lifelong learning,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was www.dsh, just like my initials, Derek Sean Hogarty, Holdings, plural, with an S, LLC.com. So dshholdings.llc.com.
Perfect. Very much. Thank you very much for being on the show. This has been a lot of fun. And congratulations. We were talking a little bit before we pressed go on the recording that your goal is 500 units a year for the next 4 years. And you're giving yourself a little bit of a hard time because you started in September. You're only at 322 units. Um,
I'm very lucky, very, very lucky. I'm still, blessed,
so yes,
grateful, all the other
yeah.
words.
So good job and keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the opportunity of being here.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll talk to you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.